Good evening. Welcome to the March 18th, 2024 Troy City Council meeting. Please rise for the invocation and then remain standing for a very special treat for our Pledge of Allegiance. Father in heaven, we give you thanks for this day and thanks for the many blessings you've given each and every one of us here in the city of Troy. We ask that you continue to bless us this evening as we work through the business of the city. We ask that you bless the residents and business owners throughout our city who are making our city continually operate on a smooth function. Please be with our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters, our contracted EMS, our public works department, all of the employees who are the first to respond in case of crisis or at any other thing to keep our city safe and moving well as well. We ask that you be with all of us this evening to keep us in your guidance. Please be with those who need your help but may not be willing or able to ask this evening, and know that we all depend on you. In heaven's name we pray. Amen. Now, I'm very thankful to have Den 2 from Cub Scout Pack 1712 to come forward and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. They're from Waddles Elementary, and I just met with them, and they're 4 good kids. So, gentlemen, please come on up. You can stand right there. Just kind of circle around. You see our flags, and you lead the way. When you're ready to start, we'll follow you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Before I call the meeting to order, is that TV going to come on, that screen? Does anybody know?
I'm checking on.
Thank you. All right, I'll call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call from Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga?
Here.
Councilmember Chanda?
Here.
Councilmember Gunn?
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick?
I did receive communication from Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick that she would be out of the county this evening and unable to attend our meeting. So I'll move resolve that Troy City Council hereby excuses the absence of Mayor Pro Tem Alan Hoderick at the regular City Council meeting of March 18th, 2024 due to being out of the county.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Chanda, that we approve the, that we excuse the absence of Mayor Pro Tem Ellen Hoderick for the reasons stated herein. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Motion carries. First up are certificates of recognition and special presentations. We have 2 this evening. C1 is a Turtle Woods Nature Preserve Grant application presentation. That'll be presented by Melissa Prowse, Manager, Planning and Development from Oakland County Parks. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. I am also joined by Vital Ann, who is on the Troy School Board. And I've just got a brief presentation I think someone was going to put up for me. Okay.
All right, give us just a second.
Okay.
Do you know any jokes or anything?
I don't know any jokes. No, sorry. Perfect. Okay, so thank you for having us this evening. I'm very excited to talk to you very briefly about our Turtle Woods acquisition project in the city of Troy. Is everyone familiar with where the Turtle Woods property is? Okay, I figured you were. So this is what we're calling round 2 and the final round, we're hoping, of our grant applications to secure this property for the residents of Troy and the residents of Oakland County. We did apply to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund last year and were unfortunately unsuccessful. They had a lot of really fantastic acquisition projects from around the state that kind of beat us out in the points, but we have more points this year, so we're very hopeful for this application, and I'll explain that just a little bit. So if you're not familiar, Turtle Acres is just shy of Turtle Woods is just shy of 70 acres. We are also looking at acquiring a residential lot that's just south of that and has access on Square Lake Road so that we can get people into the park from Square Lake Road. We are requesting just over $2.1 million from the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. The total project is just shy of $4.5 million. The property, if you haven't been on it, is beautiful. It's nearly 40 acres of wetland and wooded uplands. And as you know, it's surrounded by houses and a golf course to the north. There's a lot going on this spreadsheet, but the reason that we want to put this up is to kind of give you a picture of the finances of this project and the partnership that has developed between Oakland County Parks, the Six Rivers Land Conservancy, and the Troy School District. The Troy School District is the owner of the property. They had it since the 50s, I believe, as surplus school property that they didn't need anymore. They want to see it kept in recreation because that's how the community is using it now, and it is such a valuable piece of property. The tricky thing with the trust fund is that Oakland County Parks, we cannot use those grant dollars to buy the property from the school district. You can't use it to buy public land from another public agency. So that's where Six Rivers Land Conservancy comes in. They step in, they secure the property, they purchase it from the school district, and essentially hold on to it for us until we can come in with the grant funding to purchase it. So when we applied last year, the school district had very generously donated 25% of the value of the property to our grant application, which essentially counted as our 25% match, which was fantastic. It's the minimum requirement. It didn't get us any points. So it was great to have that, but we didn't get any points for it. This year, they have very generously agreed to donate 50% of the value of the property, which is $1.875 million. That gets us to 50% match, which gets us 25 additional points, which we are hoping means that we will get funded this year. And Ann, I'm going to let Lan say a few words.
Okay. Hi, my name is Vitalani. I am on the Troy School Board. Just going to give you a little bit history of this property. The Troy School District acquired this property more than 50 years ago as a site for possible expansion. Over time, based on demographic changes and other data, the district decided that the property would not be needed anymore for expansion and wanted to sell it and put the funds into educational programming. Through many public hearings and discussions, as well as data from environmental assessment, the board decided to both preserve the site and its ecology and to allow some development so that we can recapture some of the funds and use them for educational purposes. The buildable frontage of this property, called Section 1, was sold to a developer in 2020, and the proceeds were used for funding our new preschool, which now serves over 600 preschoolers. So we're very proud of that, and it's great. The remaining property, the land, though, is, like she said, over 43 acres of land, undeveloped wilderness in southern Oakland County, within 15 miles from over 300,000 people. It contains what's called Lake Plain Prairie ecology. That's what I've heard. I don't know if you're going to go over it. Okay, which apparently contains a whole lot of extremely rare habitat, and about less than 1% of it is still around, still remains. And it supports some of the highest concentration of biodiversity in the region. So definitely, it's also home for many spotted turtle. That's the name, Turtle Woods. It just somehow naturally came that way. I don't think anybody named it Turtle Woods. That's how it became. The wetlands also help sustain water quality for Clinton River watershed, Clinton River system, and ultimately to Lake St. Clair. The district would like to preserve this property for environmental education for the students, as well as nature preserve for future use of Troy residents and Oakland County residents as well. The district and the board would also want to be fiscally responsible and would like to receive some financial compensation. That's why the 50% match, and hoping to get the 50% with the grant dollars. So I hope you support this resolution.
So you guys know where this is. This is a slide from our Board of Commissioners presentation, but it's just north of Square Lake Road between John R. and DeQuinder. So this is a map showing the area, and you can see that residential lot on the south end where we have a Wheeling Cellar that we're looking to turn into the parking in the main access. The Robertson Brothers development does have 13 parking spaces as part of that development. They were required to do that to provide access to Turtle Woods, which is great, but not quite enough for a county nature preserve. So we're hoping to have 40 to 50 spaces in that other lot. And as Vital mentioned, we're in a 15-minute drive from 300,000 people, which is awesome. It makes it a prime target area for us. And in Oakland County Parks, one of our main goals and sort of the shifting focus of the Parks Commission in the county is getting people access to nature close to where they live. We don't want people to have to drive for a half hour or more to get, out into the woods and take a walk with their family. So this land has been on our radar for a very long time, and we're excited to see it come to fruition. We will operate it as a county nature preserve. So for us, that essentially means very minimal development. We will put in a parking lot. We'll probably put in a restroom building with a small pavilion on it right at the parking lot, and then the rest of it will be trails and boardwalks and wildlife overlooks and essentially just a place to come and quietly enjoy nature. And as you can see, it is a well-loved piece of property. There's stick bridges and stick forts and, tree forts and all kinds of cool things all throughout the property. It's been well-loved over the years by the community. We've had a lot of public engagement for this project, and it has been robust and very well attended, all the events that we've done. We've gotten, I think, a record number of letters of support for this project from any other grant project that I've done, especially with the trust fund. I think right now we're up to somewhere around 60 to 65 letters of support from major organizations and from individuals in the community as well. And Vital mentioned a little bit about it's important for us to get people onto the property, for people to be able to have a nice place to recreate, but it does also have tremendous ecological and environmental benefits. 43 acres of wetland in a very dense urban area plays a huge role in the stormwater management for the area. Some of the species, the spotted turtle we haven't seen out there since 1998, but we do have recent studies that show that the habitat for the turtle is still there. So we're hoping to see it come back. There are Blandings turtles, which is also a state special concern species on the property. And some of these really unique natural communities as well. And this was a video that I think is not going to play, just a little aerial footage. But that is where we're at. So we're wrapping up the application right now. It's due April 1st. We will go to the trust fund meeting in mid-December where we will find out if we are awarded. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry if you don't mind. I appreciate both of you coming. Good to see you. Also, Vital. Are you, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm thankful to see the potential for parking on that additional parcel that's being purchased. And maybe this is a question for our team, but can you tear down a residential house and build a parking lot in the zoning that exists, or is there anything that we're going to need to do?
We have been talking to the city well over a year into this. We've been talking with them about opportunities for parking there, and I'm told that it's not an issue. We've talked about the need for potential deceleration lanes and things like that, and they've said they were happy to work with us.
Our City Manager Miller.
I assume that the property is zoned single-family residential, and we could zone it community facilities, which then would allow for it.
So it would potentially
Yeah.
need something different from us. That's,
And
I guess
you would
that's my
probably
point.
need that for the bathroom facilities and things like that.
Okay.
We have quite a few parks that are zoned community facilities.
Right. Councilmember Gunn.
What's the status on the purchase of the residential home?
So we do have a willing seller. We're actually doing an appraisal right now. So if they decide that they want to move before we get the grant, we'll do the exact same thing that we're doing with Turtle Woods, where Six Rivers will purchase it from them, and then we will use the grant money to purchase it from them. So we're actively working with them right now.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Craig.
Relates to what you just asked, Mayor. So if it becomes community facilities, it's rezoned, it doesn't need a public easement then? And the other question is, does that then go to Six Rivers temporarily until you receive it? Just wondering how that works.
The easement, I don't know. I'm not sure about the easement.
I'm sitting here, I'm not sure what an easement would be needed for, but if they control the property, then they could have parking. But there could be other easements for public utilities and drainage.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Bigger question. So I have a resident I've known literally for almost 10 years who lives on Topaz, very close, has been using that for decades and decades and appreciates so much what we're all aiming to do with this land or hoping to do. Fingers crossed for the DNR grant. The question that came up, he asked me, and you're a perfect person to ask, is can residents still, while it's still in progress, can he go out and walk on that property? Can folks still use it and enjoy it?
Yes.
What would we tell our residents who have that question?
Yeah, it's a little tricky right now because access it's a little hard to get to. It is pretty much landlocked except for off Evanswood Road, which you can't, there's no parking on Evanswood Road, but you can park in those neighborhoods and walk in from up there. I think that you might be able to get in from the Robertson Brothers development now. I drove through there the other day though, and there was a lot of construction in that back corner. So as soon as that's in, you can walk in. So if you can find a way to get into it, you are welcome to use it.
You could use it though, but I would be careful because right now it's not being maintained, and that's why we want the parks to take care of the ecology and take care of the system there. So if we want residents to use it, just be careful.
And wear your waterproof boots.
Yes, it's pretty muddy out there.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So,
Councilmember Chanda?
yeah, I mean, I think the timing wise, you mentioned that the application is due on April 1st, right?
Yes.
But if I think we go with the resolution, it may not be available before that. So is that okay? I mean, in terms of the in some
It
kind of
is,
a
yeah. I saw it
support
on your agenda this evening, so I don't know if it's going to be approved tonight or not, but if it's not, we can submit it after the fact. It's great to have it at the application, but there is a supplemental period too.
We do have a resolution on the agenda this evening that
I thought I saw it.
So,
I-4.
I
So,
thought I
yeah. So
so
stick around for
that means that we can give them something today. I guess.
It would be
Or
coming.
someone can email it to me
Email.
in the next couple days.
Today.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll follow through probably tomorrow.
There's
Okay.
there's a protocol, and I believe the city clerk has.
yeah, that's what I wasn't sure about, but yeah, but okay, no, that's good.
It'll be in time for the April 1st, which I believe is why it's on tonight's
On
agenda.
tonight.
So,
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
No,
Thank
that-
you.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, next up is C2, County Commissioners Update. We have two of our county commissioners here this evening. Our newest one, Commissioner Ann Erickson Galt, who's a familiar face, and also Penny Loops, who's another familiar face, but for a different reason. Penny, good to see you both.
Good evening. I'm Ann Erickson Galt. I'm the County Commissioner for District 3, which is Hazel Park, Madison Heights, and the eastern strip of Troy.
Penny Lubes, Oakland County Commissioner, District 2, so I represent Clausen, the major portion through Troy like a ribbon. Ann has the east side, Commissioner Woodward has the west side, and I have the middle part, and parts of Royal Oak.
Very good.
So, fortunately, Melissa, the subject matter expert on Turtle Woods, talked all about Turtle Woods, so I'm going to be pretty short tonight because I was going to talk about that, but I'm happy that she got that out of the way. Since I've been appointed, it's been a very interesting time. We've gone through a lot of things. The commission has been incredibly busy. One of the things that you may have heard about was Oakland Saves program. That was a wonderful program that allowed residents to apply for grants and low-interest loans in order to do residential renovations that would promote energy efficiency. The grant program, unfortunately, now is closed, but we still do have the low-interest loans available through Michigan Saves, which is the partner program. And we are looking at possibly, that was sort of a pilot program, so we're hopeful maybe if the funding's available, we can do that again. It was extremely popular. There was $5 million passed out to almost 1,100 households in the county. And I know for a fact that there were people in Troy that were able to take advantage of that. You want to go?
Okay, I'll
Okay.
fill in the gaps. We're going to tag team
Okay,
this, so what she
sounds
doesn't
good.
cover, I will cover.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to highlight is the Rain Smart Rebates Program. The Rain Smart Rebates Program is the first residential green stormwater infrastructure pilot program. So again, another pilot program that we're hoping to expand. That allows up to $2,000 for homeowners to do things such as tree planting, putting in rain barrels, rain gardens, and so forth on their property to minimize stormwater runoff. Unfortunately, at this time, it's limited to people who are in the George W. Kuhn Drainage District, which is a chunk of Troy, but not all of the city. So again, pilot program, so we're very much hoping to expand that in as we go forward. And one other thing I wanted to mention was we had our Youth in Government Day back in February where 80 students from all over the county participated. I don't think there was anyone here from Troy. There were some people there from Hazel Park, so some of my district was represented. I encourage and hopefully I'll be reaching out to the school districts here to try to encourage them to be involved next year. It was a very wonderful program. And last but not least, Oakland County is hiring for summer jobs. So if you know someone who's a college student or a high school student who needs a summer job program, especially the parks, lots of seasonal workers needed for the parks program. So by all means, ask them. Oh, I did have one more thing. The Great Marshmallow Drop. If you're going to be around on Friday, March 29th, which is Good Friday, from 8:30 to 12:30 at Catalpa Park in Southfield. And that's a lot of fun. I remember taking my daughter when she was very little, and it was freezing and she was shivering, but she had a great time.
Sounds like fun, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Oakland County has a Veterans Resource Fair April 25th from 9 a.m. to noon here at Troy Community Center. So there will be many representatives. Detroit VA will be here to register people. Michigan Works will help find jobs. Health Department to do a short medical assessment, but lots of resources for our veterans. And we have in our community Sally Huang, a fifth grader at Leonard Elementary, who's a talented artist whose artwork was selected on our Water Commissioner's cover of the 2024 Kids Clean Water Calendar. Now, this is the 6th year a Troy student has won first place in the Kids Clean Water Calendar. I'm impressed with that.
Great art program there.
Then you heard from Vital Annie earlier, who was recognized by Oakland County through Ann for our Women's History, our Women's Month. So another great honor here in Troy. So our Water Resource Department also has a Water Residential Assistant Program for low-income household and families, and you can call our Oakland County Water Resource Commission for more information on that. And about parks, our Independence Oaks Park now has a new kayak vending machine. So the cost to rent is $25 for 2 hours and $10 per hour after that. So it's an actual huge vending machine with the kayaks inside. It's amazing. April 27th at Springfield Oaks in Davisburg is a 4-H Discovery Day for families with games, animal presentations, and activities, and that is all free. I'm sure most of us are aware that Oak Alert is our county's emergency notification system. So you're able to receive texts, phone calls, emails when emergency situations occur in the area you live in here in Troy. And you can visit Oak Alert 24 to sign up for that. We recently found out about our opioid settlement. So Oakland County is getting opioid money. So lawsuits began in 2014 against pharmaceutical companies for the role they played in fueling the opioid crisis. So local and state governments are getting significant amounts of money from that lawsuit. So the monies will come in over a period of time over 20 years. The total amount of monies will be $35 million in Michigan. And in Oakland County, we're starting a committee composed of 15 shareholders or people in recovery, people who provide rehab and recovery services, to brainstorm on how best we can spend this money and use this money to help prevent future opioid use. We have a medical debt program going on. It's called the RIP Medical Debt Program. We leveraged $2 million of our county's money to purchase up to $200 million in medical debt of Oakland County residents. There's not a way for an individual to apply. What the medical debt company does is work with the hospitals for the highest balance bills and work to build that down, and when they reduce that debt, then they'll contact that person. So you won't know until it happens. It'll be a surprise to, to the person with the debts. our Oakland County Historical Society has a traveling exhibit around Oakland County regarding the Underground Railroad. And they're starting now in the cities of Birmingham, Farmington, Royal Oak, Pontiac, and Southfield, because that's where they can trace the pathways to date. Some of our, we do offer grant programs, and we have a page on our website for grants. Some of the grants for this year have already passed, but pay attention to that, and we'll keep you posted about what grants we have available. But I am very happy that Ann has joined our team, and we work well together, and we promise to do right and support you in wherever you tell us there's a need, we'll go to work for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you both. Any questions from council? Councilmember Hamilton.
Just a comment, we're also hiring for summer Parks and Rec too, so thanks, Ann. But thank you for that. I'm very excited for Turtle Woods. That is going to be absolutely wonderful addition. Though I recommend people bring bug spray, because I went out there when we were voting on that 4 years ago, and with my dog, and we both just got eaten alive. So, but it's a real nature preserve, so all the fixings like that. So it's great to hear. I'm excited.
It is wonderful. I know I live in that neighborhood, and many of my neighbors have come to me over the years and says, what's happening with that property? Because they loved it. They treated it like a nature preserve long before it ever really was. And so it's very exciting, and fingers crossed we're successful this time on our grant application.
Yeah, if you want to visit it now too, you can always buy one of those houses, which are 1,900 square feet and going for $625,000.
No,
So yeah.
But they're ranches.
Yes.
There you go. Any other comments, questions? Good to see you both. Thank you both.
right.
You're
Thank
both
you.
people who have come from city government into county government. I appreciate that. You're longtime mayor in Clausen, Penny, and of course, Ann, you were here. So I love that you bring that perspective with you to the county commission. I think that only benefits all of us and our residents. So thank you both for your
Thank you.
service.
By all means, contact us anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes certificates of recognition and special presentations this evening. We don't have any carryover items. We have no public hearings this evening. I see that no one has signed up for public comment for items on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses, so there's no need for reply. There's no postponed items, so we move on to regular business. I-1 is board and committee appointments. I have no mayoral appointments this evening, and I'll turn it over to Councilmember Hamilton for city council appointment.
I'd like to move the appointment of Justin Rose to our traffic committee for the term expiring January 31st, 2027.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Hamilton, supported by Councilmember Brooks, that we approve the appointment of Justin Rose to the Traffic Committee for the term expiring January 31st, 2027. Any discussion? I will say Mr. Rose is here this evening. He came down to say hello and show his face. We appreciate you very much volunteering to be on this important committee, and I know Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick was very disappointed that the timing worked out as such, but she's very thankful that you agreed to do this and looks forward to having you on this board for us. So thank you, and again, also thanks for showing up. The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes, motion carries. That's it, right, Dave?
That's it.
Yeah. That concludes city council appointments this evening. Next up is I-2 board and committee nominations. I do have a mayoral nomination this evening. I would like to move the nomination of Vinaya Gunasakar as the student representative to the Global Troy Advisory Committee for the term expiring July 31st, 2024.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain Cronga, that we approve the nomination of Vinaya Gunasakar as the student representative to the Global Troy Advisory Committee for the term expiring July 31st, 2024. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes mayoral nominations this evening. We have no city council nominations this evening, so we'll move on. I-3, there's no closed session requested this evening. So next up is I-4, resolution in support of Turtle Woods Nature Preserve grant application by Oakland County Parks. That'll be introduced by our Deputy City Manager, Robert J. Bruner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. After discussion at the last city council meeting, city staff was able to provide an update on the Turtle Woods grant application. Fortunately, we were able to wrangle Melissa to come and give a presentation tonight and have prepared a resolution for City Council's consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Someone want to move the resolution? Harak, you want to move it?
Yes, yeah, I move I4, agenda item I4, resolution to support Turtle Woods Nature Preserve as printed on the agenda package.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Chanda, supported by Councilmember Hamilton, that we approve I-4 resolution in support of Turtle Woods Nature Preserve grant application by Oakland County Parks as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? I'll just say we're happy to, well, I'm happy to support this, and it's obviously something we've been looking forward to for a number of years. When we approved the development in front of that, it was always a hope that this would eventually get to this point, and I know our residents are hopeful that this will all come to fruition as planned, although in the meantime, they don't really know anything is going on differently other than the development in the front. But I think this is a good example of many different jurisdictions working together to hopefully come to a common goal that benefits everybody. So happy to support this, and keep us posted, of course. Sounds like April 1st deadline, mid-December. It takes a while before we get any answers, but if there's anything else anytime, let us know. All right, the vote, Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Chanda,
Support, yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga.
Yes.
Motion carries. And I'm sure our city clerk and city staff will get a certified copy or something to whomever needs it. So, next up is I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, Low Bidder Meeting Specifications, Troy Union Corner Cemetery Retaining Wall, and Budget Amendment. And that'll be introduced by Mike, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's Mike Verstrate.
Verstrate, Streets and Drains Operations Manager. Sorry about that. Usually I figure that out, but I didn't.
Mayor, council members. I'm Mike Verstrate, Streets and Drains Operation Manager. I'm gonna turn it over to Nick Herzig, Streets and Drains Project Manager. Give you guys a little detail about the Union Corners
Very good.
Cemetery retaining wall.
Very good. Nick, you clean up pretty well.
Thank you, sir.
I rode in a snowplow with Nick last winter, and he didn't dress like this, I'll tell you that.
So Union Corner Cemetery was established in 1831. It's been there a long time, kind of historical. It has a retaining wall that is made out of wood that is falling apart, and it serves two purposes. One, aesthetics for the cemetery, and two, there's a walkway that's in front of it that basically goes from Emerald Lakes and the school over there to Rochester Road. So we wanted to put something that was a little more of a permanent repair in there, concrete that's going to look like stone, something we're not going to have to mess with for hopefully the next 50 years. And that's pretty much all we have for that.
Very good.
Any questions?
Any questions? All right, someone want to move the resolution? Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga.
I'll move it, Mayor. I'll move I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, Low Bidder Meeting Specifications, Troy Union's Corner Cemetery Retaining Wall and Budget Amendment as printed in the agenda packet.
Support. Moved by Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga, supported by Councilmember Gunn, that we approve I-5, Standard Purchasing Resolution 2, Low Bidder Meeting Specifications, Troy Union Corner Cemetery Retaining Wall and Budget Amendment as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to move this because this is important for lots of different reasons. If you go to our cemeteries, especially these historic cemeteries, so much of Troy's history you can find there. And it was actually exactly the cemetery at the Troy Corners. I posted something once, just the beauty and the history, and surprisingly, it was a cemetery I shared on social media, and I actually got an amazing response, other residents saying they take part in tours with the Troy Historic Village, and just talking about, again, you find the amazing history of our city going back ages actually in these cemeteries. So it's important to preserve them and take care of them, and so I thank you for your work towards that.
All set. Any other comments, discussion? All right, the vote, Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga,
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. That concludes regular business this evening. Next up is the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull any item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Councilmember Hamilton.
I'd like to move all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Hamilton, supported by Councilmember Chanda, that we approve all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn?
Yes.
Motion carries. If you are here for an item on the consent agenda this evening, all of them have been approved. There are no memorandums and future council agenda items to announce this evening, so we move on to public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. We do have 4 people signed up. Same rules as always. 3 minutes, you're speaking to us as a body. When the light turns yellow, that means you have 1 minute left, and when it turns red, your 3 minutes are up. So with that said, we'll get started. First up is Barb Yeagley.
Good evening, council members. Thank you. My name is Barb Yeagley, and I'm a resident of Troy. And I know there's been a lot of discussion during the past couple months about a ceasefire resolution, and I came across a group. It's called Sharaka, which it's Arabic for partnership, so I probably pronounced it wrong, so my apologies for that. But they speak towards, their mission is for dialogue, understanding, cooperation, and friendship among all the peoples within the Middle East region, Gulf states, and especially as regards to Israel. And one of the things that they've done is that they've arranged trips for people in the area, especially Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. I think this is an outgrowth of the Abraham Accords, which was a peace movement that was facilitated by the U.S. government. And it really points to the fact that people can get along if they are willing to listen to each other and speak respectfully to each other. And I know one of the early founders of it was out of Bahrain, and she commented that when she was growing up, she was taught to hate the Jews, because she was told that the Jews were taught to hate the Muslims. And it turns out that that's not true, that they should not be taught to hate each other. And so when the Abraham Accord came out, she realized that, well, maybe we don't have to hate each other. Our governments were actually working together. So she ended up taking a trip to Israel and met the people there, and found that there was a diversity of people that not even in her own homeland that they had in Israel, that there were Christians and Muslim and Jews and Druze and all kinds of people living together. And she, from her perspective especially, I think she went into the area biblically known as Galilee, but that's northern Israel. The people did cooperate together, and so I think is a way for our community to move forward, I think, is to encourage that and to have people check out their website. It's SHARAKANGO.com. And they give the background on that and some of their initiatives that they've been doing. Okay, and thank you very much for this time.
Thank you, Ms. Yeagley. Appreciate it. Next up is Kira Taylor-Elms.
Hi, everybody. I hope you had a good couple weeks. I'm here again to ask you to please consider passing a ceasefire resolution in Troy. This action would uplift peace in my and many other people's opinions, which I hope is something almost all of Troy would stand for, politically and on a personal level. I also want to point out that you guys know this issue affects us locally. Many of us have brought this up over months now. We've collectively given you a lot of reasons as to how this affects us. It's very sad to have seen such efforts from so many people over, I've only been here a couple months, but I think since October people have been showing up here. Seeing that level of effort and being met with silence from some people and condolences, which are appreciated, but little to no strong action that actually makes a change with the power you guys have on city council. In my personal opinion, the step you guys did take with the Troy Global Advisory Committee, last meeting, I feel the speech was true in its words personally, but I really hope further action can be taken, like a ceasefire resolution that would actually put into place a message to send to higher ups in Michigan to show that our state stands for peace and stands for a ceasefire. If you guys all see the headlines and know the facts, like I know some of you have mentioned when responding to us, thank you again. I hope that you're at least personally advocating for a ceasefire in your day-to-day lives like we are. And you all have much more influence than us due to your elected positions on council. We ask you to please utilize this and please help slow this genocide, or at least represent those of us who are trying by passing a ceasefire resolution in Troy. Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Next up is Sarwat Siddiqui.
Good evening, everybody. Today, I was watching TV. The death toll reached above 31,000. These are just not the numbers. These are human lives. And 31,000 is just the deaths. Imagine how many lose the limbs, how many lose injured, maybe 3 or 4 times more than. So maybe 100,000 is already injured. Most of you, you think that one time Mr. Denzer said, okay, go above level, go to congressmen, senators, and may not impact whatever resolution you want to pass here, but every drop of water, it's make an impact. So that is again my request to pass the peace resolution, or find any other suggestion if you have, proclamation maybe. You can pass this one. One more point is important, just to, all those came here or watching this one or pass of that one, these are all voters. And those are the one which is swing voters on both sides, Republican and the Democrat side. They're watching, they're the swing votes. So next voting is coming this year, so make an impact. Those have the sympathies with that, or at least think about it, to pass these resolutions. Maybe the voters are on the same page about that one, which are the swing voters. So once again, I request to pass a resolution or find any proclamation or any other solution which we can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Siddiqui. Next up is Ian McClure.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Ian McClure, and I'm here today to speak in favor of a resolution or proclamation or any other sort of official message that this city is a city in favor of peace and collaboration all throughout the world. And what that looks like in this current moment is calling for a ceasefire. As was just stated, the death toll is immense at this point, and we're also seeing that, incredibly horrific things are happening that we would not stand for here. Just today it was reported that an entire team of journalists were taken captive inside a hospital when IDF forces raided the hospital. To me, that is an attack on the free press. That is an attack on the very fundamental democratic rights of free expression. And so that cannot be stood for. I also want to mention the fact that this room is a little emptier than usual, and that's because this meeting started at or before sundown. And of course, it is Ramadan this month, and so many people who would normally be here are, at home with their families celebrating the holy month. So thank you for your time and your consideration, and we will keep coming back and respectfully asking that you take these concerns into account and call for an immediate and lasting ceasefire. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. That concludes those that have signed up for public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Now's an opportunity for council or administration to respond or reply. I feel like there's about 30 to 40 minutes of me speaking on this subject over the past several meetings on YouTube. So does anyone else have anything they'd like to add this evening? All right. Next up are council referrals. We do not have any this evening, so we move on to reports. Anyone have any comments regarding any of the reports? Councilmember Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. Report 02A is a 2023 advanced status report. Thank you to city staff for this information. It's good to see. I know that very soon we're going to get a strategic plan for the Troy Public Library. What is the latest timeline on that and when we should expect to see that? And then I also saw for EMS that the first project deliverable, the high-level guidance on what we need to do with our EMS service is expected soon. And it's interesting, I've seen other communities are also having to revamp. I just saw Farmington just revamped their EMS. They're contracting with Farmington Hills to kind of redo everything they were doing. So this is not exclusive to us. This is something happening in communities everywhere. So yeah, those two things. Does city staff have any timeline on when we should receive that? Thank you.
Regarding the library, we've been working with Rethinking Libraries, who helped facilitate the strategic plan. Right now, it's looking like the meeting on June 10th would be the meeting that Rethinking Libraries would be able to join us and go over a presentation for that strategic plan.
And regarding the project with Fitch and Associates, unfortunately, Chief Hollinger is off, so I didn't have an up-to-the-moment update to provide, but he'll be back this week, and we'll have more information soon.
Yeah, just provide that via Q&A, weekly Q&A to us. And
yep, absolutely.
Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brooks.
I also have a question on O2A. Where are we as far as the status of the block grant for the sustainability block grant that we applied for? Just wondering if we heard back from that.
Yep, we're still in the process of getting that submitted. So that will be turned in by the end of the month, and we'll have details from that for the EECBG grant.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Craig.
Exactly. I wanted to comment and just wanted to thank you, City Manager's Office, but Meg, I know you've been shepherding a lot of this work. So it was 3 different things. It states you're going to be submitting for the block grant, and you've already submitted for the Michigan Green Communities Challenge. So congratulations for that first step. And it looks like you already assume that we will get silver status. So that's very positive, and I think that opens us up even to different resources potentially even. I think there was an internship program you could benefit from potentially, depending on your status, where it falls. Also want to thank you for that community engagement session. It said February 2nd you had that, and I don't know if there's more that you can share about that, but just want to thank you and the internal team for kind of meeting some of the residents who are really active and informing them more about the process. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to share about how that went or anything next on that.
Yes, our community engagement session, we met with some of our most active and involved sustainability community members. It was very successful. It was a collaboration between city staff, Bob was there with me, as well as Ashley Thibodeau, and we were able to meet with about 9 community members, including some representatives from the county. We came together and were able to talk about sort of the strategic plan that we have unofficially moving forward as far as sustainability is concerned with the city of Troy, and we are looking forward to continuing those conversations. We haven't set regularly scheduled meetings yet, and they're not broad and open to the community at this point. It was a very small and selective group that we met with. However, as we continue to grow and have more details to share, we plan on opening up these engagement sessions to larger portions of the community to get more feedback as we continue with the specific initiatives.
Then a quick question with the block grant, I forgot to follow. We decided to pursue what was shared in the advance, is that correct, around the Streamline program where we're offered, the U.S. government actually recommends consultants who will work with us to develop the plan, is that correct? So we don't have to spend the time finding that. We are still doing that path.
Yes, we absolutely are. So we're still continuing with a voucher plan, which will help us streamline the funds that will come over to the city once we are approved versus the full grant block. But the fund amount is going to be the same amount, and we will get a specialized consultant who will be able to come in and build a comprehensive plan for the city. Once we have this plan in place, we'll be able to really start engaging the community. And I think it's important to know that there'll be components of community engagement while we're building the plan too. So both before and after, the community will have opportunities to participate in the building of the plan and the implementation of the plan. As far as the Green Communities Challenge goes, we have received confirmation that we will be either silver or gold, and that is very exciting. We're joining some great communities in those statuses. And what it does, speaking to the resources that it unlocks, is one of the major things is it unlocks an entirely different cohort that will be able to join with the state. It will be made up of cities who are also silver and gold status. We can share resources, share different initiatives. You do have to make one of either silver or gold status to join the cohort. So we received confirmation today, actually, that we've been invited to join. We will have city staff participating in that and continuing to work with the Green Communities Challenge.
Yeah, I want to credit Ashley with that too, because she forwarded the email to us just today, and it's kind of funny because though I don't have anything official back from Michigan Green Communities, we have an email from the University of Michigan that runs the Catalyst Communities program. So, like I said, we just got that information today, so it's exciting, and stay tuned for more.
Any other comments on the reports?
Yeah,
Councilmember
I just wanted to thank the city administration for starting this initiative, and I think you did a lot of good work and meeting the community members. And I don't remember it's in the report or not. What's the timeline for knowing if we got that grant? I know we haven't applied yet, but once we apply, what's our timeline for getting or not getting the grant?
It's a little bit of a different type of grant. We already know that we qualify for our funds. They have been earmarked and set aside, especially choosing the voucher route that we went with. It is on a rolling basis, so I would assume it would be pretty quick turnaround to let us know officially and start coordinating, receiving those funds and moving forward with the program.
Okay. And once you get that, you'll move ahead with hiring the external agency to get the plan going, right? The formal plan going, is that correct?
Exactly. Once we have a little bit more information on the timeline and get connected with our consultant, we will start that process and begin the community engagement and continue to work through that. So right now, unofficially, we're looking at the summer, the end of the spring here in the summer, to really be focusing on this sustainability plan for the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. A follow-up, Councilmember Chamberlain Craig.
One thing small, because we have our colleagues from Oakland County. So the block grant, I know initially it was Aaron Quittel from the county's chief sustainability officer, who reached out and shared Troy already qualifies. It's like free money. And I remember forwarding it, but just again, I want to thank the county and thank those partnerships, and it goes a long way, those relationships. So we thank you all.
Anything else on the reports? All right, next up are council comments. Council comments. Councilmember Tanda.
I just wanted to, thank everyone, the city administration, for turning around this resolution on Turtlewood so quickly. This is really good. I'm hoping, all Oakland County School District, everybody working together, so to preserve the green space, and yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so in that spirit, let's say go green. You won't hear from a Michigan fan very often, but I will tell today. So let's hope that we all win and preserve the place. So thanks again. I think it's very quickly, within 2 weeks or within a week, I think everybody worked together. And
very good. Additional council comments? Okay. I have a couple. I just want to say, we have a busy next several weeks. I mean, after this meeting, April's pretty busy, I guess is my point. First of all, we are in the middle of Ramadan, and we certainly celebrate and support those in our community who are observing. And obviously Easter's coming up for those of the Christian faith, and we recognize that a lot of these holy holidays come at the same time, and it's actually a really nice in our community that we can all kind of come together and celebrate in our own ways, but recognizing each other's faiths, and I really do appreciate that about our community especially. I mentioned April is busy. We have several extra meetings in April. April 6th, we will have our public interviews of our 2 finalists for the city manager role. It was released, that went out on Friday. In a press release, Deputy City Manager Bruner and Public Works Director Kurt Bovensiep are the 2 finalists that we'll be interviewing. 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, April 6th. It's a public meeting. Well, you're welcome to attend or certainly watch online. And there will be a public comment portal that gets opened on the 20th of this month, which is later this week, where you'll have an opportunity to share your comments and thoughts. I urge you to certainly do as much as you like, but watch the interviews, especially if you have some extra comments to make, because I think you'll have an understanding of that, or be well-versed that way as well. And then it looks like, if all things go as planned, we'll be appointing a new city manager at our next regular meeting on April 8th. So that's a big start to the month. But earlier in that meeting on April 8th, we have a special meeting at 6 o'clock, which is part of our council orientation process, but my understanding, it'll be our public safety component and our public works, which are 2 very front-facing components of our city government. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about those 2 departments or that part of the work, please either join us at our meeting, we'll be in the boardroom, or you can watch online. We also, in mid-April, we have our budget study sessions, which again, our budget is what sets our priorities for city council and for the government. So April 15th is our first special budget study meeting, and then we've reserved April 17th for a special budget study meeting as well, if it's necessary. And it looks like we will likely be approving that budget, or whatever that budget may be. We haven't seen it yet. Will be sometime in May, as required by our charter. Additionally, the State of the City address will be May 8th. So you'll have an opportunity to watch that as well. So all of these things are coming together. It's a very busy next 6 weeks, is my point. And there'll be a lot of things moving for our city government, and anxious to get some of these things going and to have some good discussions with my colleagues on all of these topics, because I think these are often the things that our residents are most concerned about. City Manager Miller.
You forgot one thing, Mayor.
Oh, what'd I forget?
May 20th meeting will be my last meeting.
I didn't forget. Never forget, Mark. I never forget. I was only going up until like the budget meeting. Okay. So yeah, Mark is counting down the meetings apparently. So it's good to know. But yeah, we'll get there, Mark. Give us some time. I didn't also talk about our city attorney evaluation on April 1st either, but that'll quickly move into the closed session as permitted and expected. So anyway, we've got a lot going on in the city of Troy. I remind everybody to be safe, as always, out in our community, and do good things for your neighbors and people around you, because we need some kindness every now and then to help out as we move along. So, all right. I don't see anybody signed up for public comment for items on or not on the agenda from members of the public outside of Troy, and we don't have a closed session this evening, so with that, we're adjourned.